Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ever saw a doctor or nurse being too tired and overworked until they cannot even finish their meals? Some people might see it inside the TV series or movies such as Grey's Anatomy or hospital playlists, while in fact, it also happened in real life. Being medical personnel, it means that you need to be ready for any upcoming that might come unexpectedly. It is wonderful being someone who can save someone's life, but sometimes it is draining. It has been known that being a doctor, usually having a busy schedule, they often get their rest time when it comes to a weekend. But sometimes, even on those calm weekend, they need to be ready just in case something worse is coming. In this case, people seem to misunderstood that doctors work less and that they need to do a lot of reservices in the name of humanity. But ladies and gentlemen, please keep in mind that doctors are actually just a regular human like us. They can get stressed, they can get tired if they are overworked. They have their own limit. And that leads to the statement on why giving pro bono is actually not an obligation for medical workers. I have three simple reasons. My first reason will be talking about how pro bono services is actually not important for those medical workers. The second reason will be talking about how those medical workers already give much towards the society. And the last statement, I will give you a point of view from their perspective. Now, moving on to the first statement on why pro bono services is actually unnecessary for those medical workers. Ladies and gentlemen, it is known that being a credible workers, especially in medical field, means that we need to pass a lot of qualification. For evidence, if you want to become a doctor, you need to pass an examination called UKM-PPD. And inside those tests, there is no explanation about giving pro bono services. It means that since the very first beginning, giving pro bono services is actually not medical workers' responsibility. Furthermore, because there is no explanation about giving pro bono services, not all doctors are capable on doing that. Please keep in mind that giving pro bono services will only happen if those doctors are willing to do so. It means that we cannot enforce them. We cannot make it mandatory for them to do the pro bono services, right? Now moving on to the second reason on how medical workers are actually already give much towards the society. Doctors and nurses usually spend 7 up to 8 hours per day starting from Monday to Friday inside the hospital. They already fulfill their duty as a workers because their work time in hospital is already enough, ladies and gentlemen. If they are told to do the pro bono services, it means that they have to do it during the weekend in order not to clash it with their work schedule. It is estimated around 150 hours will be spent on giving pro bono services annually. And the only thing that they will get is about 11 million worth of unpaid work. In this case, we can see that those things are actually not fair, right, ladies and gentlemen? Now, for the last statement, I will give you a point of view from their perspective. Actually, becoming a doctor and nurses seems like a generous work, but it doesn't mean that they don't have bills to pay, ladies and gentlemen. Those doctors, nurses, and physicians are just regular person like us who want to make a living from their job. What I'm going to say is that they need to work with a regular work time and a proper salary. If they want to give a pro bono services or doing the voluntary work, it is totally okay if those kind of things are doing voluntary. But it will become an issue if we make it mandatory, right? For the conclusion is, we need to respect them and not expect much more from them. It sure can be great if they are willing to do those charity works, but if they won't do that, then that's totally fine, because those things are not part of their job, ladies and gentlemen. Those doctors and nurses are actually have the right to spend their weekend with their beloved family and friends and not worrying much about doing voluntary works. Well, I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening my speech. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, ladies and gentlemen.